beautiful ones. How are you guys doing? Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about our higher self and what that means. So the first thing that I want to point out is that just like we are not separate from our higher self, our whole self, our higher self, our whole self is also not separate from what we would call God, Source, the Monad, Prime Creator. And so we are actually talking about the same energy. It's just the same energy viewed from a different perspective. So the higher self is simply the aspect of us that is aware of all time and all dimension and everything outside of time and dimension. It's the part of us that we think sits outside of ourselves, sits up here somewhere. But really, we are our higher self. It's not that there is really, in truth, from that perspective, a lower self, a higher self, a middle self, or any of that. We're talking about the same energy. It's just that that energy is more, you could say that it's not contracted into a body, but that it's more spacious and it's more aware of everything that is happening. And so our higher self is what we are. And although we are not aware of everything that our higher self is aware of, we are still that higher self. And that higher self is always looking out for us. It wants to protect us, wants to take care of us, wants to do what's best for us. And yet it seems that a lot of the times it's hard for us to trust some of the guidance that we get from our higher self or our soul. And it's always looking out for us. And the reason why is because it's not separate from us. It's not sitting somewhere else. In fact, it is experiencing everything that we are experiencing. Same as Source. Source is having the experience of being a human through Sylvia, through David, through Kelly, through whatever name you can come up with. It is through all humanity. Source is experiencing life, and it is knowing itself through life. And even though we differentiate into different levels of consciousness or of awareness, it doesn't mean that we are not the same energy, that we are separate from that, or that we are lower or beneath that aspect of ourselves. And it is important for us at this time to be able to come into communion, into perfect union with that aspect of ourselves, since it will guide us. And that aspect of ourselves is always communicating with us. It's always here with us. It never goes away. It doesn't see us as less than. It sees us as itself. And even though we may forget who we truly are, our higher self, our Source, does not forget who we truly are. And so I invite you to form a deeper connection with your whole self, with your soul, with your higher self, with Source. And get to know that aspect of yourself. Get to know yourself at a deeper level and realize that you are vaster, that you are much more magnificent than you have ever allowed yourself to believe you are. I love you all, and I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for being so strong, and especially to those who are putting out love and putting out positive energy into the planet right now, and especially those also who are struggling and who are having a hard time. I just want to remind you all that you are all so loved, and that although it may not appear that everything is working out as it needs to be, everything is working out exactly as it needs to. We may not understand it because, again, as a human, sometimes we don't have the full picture, right? We only have a little small pinpoint viewpoint, whereas our higher self, our Source self, has access to everything, meaning that it can see the whole picture. It knows where you're going to be 20 steps ahead, whereas like you can only look at it like, okay, I'm taking one step forward. Well, our higher self is able to see a whole mile ahead of us and be able to see what's happening. And it's like the one that's standing over up in the mountain, like telling us, look, there's a storm coming, look, this is coming, and I'm going to help you and guide you through that. Go get an umbrella. go hide out somewhere and get into safety, or go this way. And a lot of times we don't trust that aspect of ourselves, so we don't listen to that aspect of ourselves. So I'm just here to remind you all, you are your higher self. You are Source, embodied in human form, and you have access to everything that your higher self, that Source, has access to. And a lot of what we're doing right now is remembering that and allowing ourselves to come back into our full potential, our full power. I love you all. Bye-bye.